Hi, I'm Liv and welcome back to the Book Nook. Hey guys, so today is going to be a slightly larger haul than, I was going to say slightly larger haul than usual, but they're all big uns. But this haul is a haul of books sent to me by publishers so far this month. Lovely, lovely publishers. Love them, love them, love them. So this is a stack of books from them, so I'm going to go through them as quickly as I can. So the first one is a book from Electric Monkey over at Egmont, and it is Andrew Smith's The Alex Crow. Now, Andrew Smith, I've never read any of his stuff before, but he wrote Grasshopper Jungle, which I think is a book that when I first sort of started watching BookTube around about a year ago was doing the rounds. I think that's the same book by the same guy, but I could be totally wrong. But yeah, this one I was intrigued by because of the cover and because it says, from the author of Grasshopper Jungle comes a genre-bending novel about friendship and brotherhood, war and humanity, identity and existence, and it also features a depressed, bionic, reincarnated crow. I'm sold. So yeah, that's the first one. It looks really interesting and it's got two crows. Yeah, and it just looks like a weird book that I'm gonna love. Next up, two from Bloomsbury, and the first one is a book that I've seen Simon over at Savage Reads talking about, and that is Jesmyn Ward's Sing, Unburied, Sing. Now, I have not read any Jesmyn Ward before, but I have heard really good things about her writing and about this book, and it's another one with a gorgeous cover. Seems to be a bit of a crow theme so far in the two books. Well, birds, black feathers. So, a quick bit about this one. Jojo's 13 years old, trying to understand what it means to be a man. His mother, Leonie, is in constant conflict with herself and those around her. She is black and her children's father is white. Embattled in ways that reflect the brutal reality of her circumstances, she wants to be a better mother, but can't put her children above her own needs. When the children's father is released from prison, Leonie packs her kids and a friend into her car and drives north to the heart of Mississippi and Parchman Farm, the state penitentiary. At Parchman there is another boy, the ghost of a dead inmate, who carries all of the ugly history of the South with him in his wandering. He too has something to teach Jojo about fathers and sons, about legacies, about violence, about love. So this sounds right up my street. Sing Unburied Sing by Jesmyn Ward. Then the next book that Bloomsbury kindly sent me is one I'm very excited about. It's one from the Man Book Along List, Kamila Shamsie's Home Fire, which is a retelling of Antigone centred around two British Muslim families. And I've heard a lot of good stuff about this one, and this one I'm not going to leave too long because, as I say, I've done quite a few on the Man Book Along List now, as you'll know, yes, I'm not going to leave this one too long. So huge thank you to Bloomsbury for Home Fire and Sing Unburied Sing. And the next book I was kindly sent from Head of Zeus, or Apollo Publishing, is A Free Food for Millionaires by Min Jin Lee. Now I say I was sent this one, actually one of my colleagues was sent a few copies to distribute to colleagues that she thinks would love it, because she loved Pachinko by Min Jin Lee. Actually, a few of my colleagues have read that one and I've raved about it, and it is one I'm going to get around to reading. But this is the next book by Min Jin Lee. I say next one, I don't think it's not a sequel or anything, but it is a book about the daughter of Korean immigrants living in New York and about sort of culture clashes and difference between family and how they have been brought up. So it sounds right up my street. I'm getting vibes already, literally just from, reading the blurb and hearing about it, of Rowan Hussein Buchanan's Harmless Like You, but that remains to be seen. But it's a bit of a chunkster, so I'm not sure how long this one's going to take me to get round to, but as I say, I've heard great things about Pachinko by Min Jin Lee, so Free Food for Millionaires already sounds like a lovely one. So, it's so big. That's what she said. So yeah, thank you very much to Apollo for sending me that one. Slurp a tea between publishers? I think so. I got the big mug out again. Or the Mig Bug. The Mig Bug. Next up, the lovely guys over at Picador sent me a lovely big box of books, which you may have seen me unboxing over on Instagram. Now, the first one is a collection of essays called Proxies by Brian Blanchfield, a memoir in 24 attempts. A momentous work informed by a lifetime of thinking, reading, loving and reckoning, utterly matchless in its erudition, its precision, its range, its daring and its grace. And that's Maggie Nelson that says that, so oh boy, hello. So it's a collection of essays that the author explains wrote these essays with the internet off. So it's all sort of just straight out of her head, no sort of fact checking, and yeah, it looks like a really, really interesting one. Heard a lot about this a while ago over in the US, so very excited to give this one a whirl. Next up from Picador, a copy of Marlena by Julie Buntin, which I've been really excited about for a little while now, especially after Alice Slater at Smokin' Tofu on Twitter read this one and said that it's worth reading, so I'm going to give this one a go. 15-year-old Kat's new town in rural Michigan is lonely and off-kilter until she meets her neighbour, the maniac, beautiful, pill-popping Marlena. Inexperienced and desperate for connection, Kat is quickly lured into Marlena's orbit by little more than an arched eyebrow and a shake of white blonde hair. As the two girls turn the untamed landscape of the desolate small town into a kind of playground, Kat catalogues a litany of firsts: first drink, first smoke, first kiss, while Marlena's habits harden and calcify. Within the year, Marlena is dead, I didn't realise that, drowned in 6 inches of icy water in the woods nearby. Decades later, when a ghost from that pivotal year surfaces unexpectedly, Kat must try to forgive herself and move on, even as the memory of Marlena keeps her tangled in the past. So, yeah, maybe the comparison with girls is wrong, I don't know, I shall have to find out by reading it. Thirdly, from Picador, a copy of American War by Omar L. Akkad. Now, this is a book that imagines the Second American Civil War in 2074. Half of Louisiana is underwater and unmanned drones fill the sky. When Sarah Chestnut, who is only 6, her father is killed and her family is forced into a displaced persons camp, she begins to grow up shaped by her particular time and place. But not everyone at Camp Patience is who they claim to be. Eventually she's befriended by a mysterious functionary under whose influence she's turned into a deadly instrument of war. So, I've heard a lot about this one. A few people on BookTube and a few book reviews, early reviews as well, saying this one is utterly fantastic. And look at that proof cover. Next up from Picador is a copy of a book that I was really intrigued when it came out in hardback, and it's due out in paperback soon, the end of this year, so Picador kindly sent me a copy of it, and that is The Nix by Nathan Hill. And from what I can remember, this is a book about a guy whose mother was arrested for an absurd political crime, but he only knows her as a bit of a hippie, and he has to sort of go backwards into her life all the way from rural Midwest of the 1960s to New York City during the Great Recession and the Occupy Wall Street movement, and back to the infamous riots in the 1968 Chicago Democratic National Convention. I can't talk. Finally, the trail leads him to wartime Norway, home in the mysterious Nix that his mother told him about as a child, a spirit that can take the shape of a white horse, luring children to their deaths. So yeah, this looks like a bit of a sort of family history, uncovering of family secrets, and yeah, I've heard really good things about it, and I was in love with the cover as soon as I saw it. So yeah, going to get round to this one when the paperback is due out. Finally, from Picador, the lovely, lovely Picador, I got a copy of Pages for Her by Sylvia Brownrigg. Now, you all know how much I loved Pages for You by Sylvia Brownrigg, and this is a follow-up, a sequel of sorts. Pages for You was written a while ago now, memory not so good, information doesn't stay in. So Pages for Her is a follow-up to Pages for You, and it picks up on Anne and Flannery's lives later along the line, and I'm really excited to get around to this one very, very soon. I'm not going to be waiting around to read this one. I may have already even started it by the time this whole video goes live. I do not know yet. Again, huge thank you to Picador for sending me those. I'm very excited. Then I have a little selection of books sent to me by Scepter Books. Thank you very much to the lovely Francine for these. First one is Madness is Better Than Defeat by Ned Beauman. Or Beauman? I don't know. I was going to say Beaumont, but it's not got a T on the end, so is it Beauman? I don't know. This one looks sufficiently bonkers. I've read this blurb like 5 times and I'm still like, huh? In 1939, 2 rival expeditions set off for a lost Mayan temple in the jungles of Honduras, one intending to shoot a screwball comedy on location there, the other to disassemble the temple and ship it back to New York. A seemingly endless stalemate ensues, and 20 years later a rogue CIA agent embarks on a mission to exploit it as a geopolitical pawn, unaware that the temple is the locus of grander conspiracy than anyone could have imagined. The temple will bring these poor souls nothing but madness. Are you ready to join them? I don't know. So I also got a copy of The Hidden Keys by André Alexis from Scepter Books, which the finished cover is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, so is this. I like a little bit of Spartan. It's lovely. But the finished cover is this gorgeous blue and yellow affair, and it's gorgeous. Gorgeous. It's almost the same colour as my t-shirt, actually, the finished one. Look how on brand I am, even though it's not my brand. So, The Hidden Keys. In the depths of the ill-reputed Green Dolphin Bar, Tancred Palmieri, a principled and highly talented thief? Just putting a T on the end of there. Thief meets aging heroin addict Willow Azarian. She reveals to Tancred that her billionaire father left each of his 5 children an object that provides one clue to the whereabouts of a large inheritance. She enlists Tancred to steal each object and solve the puzzle. A Japanese screen, a painting that plays music, an aquavit bottle, a framed poem, and a model of Frank Lloyd Wright's Falling Water. Are these really clues, or has Tancred fallen victim to the delusions of a junkie? I can't read today. And how will Tancred shake off the competing interests of von Werfel, the artist, Freud and Colby, and a pair of dim-witted but persistent thugs, and his good friend D.I. Daniel Mandelstam? We'll go with that. So yeah, this one, it looks really, really intriguing, and it just looks absolutely gorgeous, and flicking through, sort of, it just looks like a madcap thing that I'm just gonna love. So huge thank you for that one. Then another book that I'm very excited about from Scepter is Jarett Kobek's The Future Won't Be Long. You guys may remember I read Jarett Kobek's I Hate the Internet. I thought it was a really interesting, just a really interesting novel, and I really enjoyed that one. So this is a new novel from Jarett Kobek. It's the tail end of 1986, and Baby is the freshest-faced, starriest-eyed young homo in all of New York City, straight off the bus from closeted backwoods Wisconsin. Adeline is his rich art school kid saviour with a bizarre transatlantic drawl and a spare bed. I nearly got through that. The Future Won't Be Long follows Baby and Adeline as they cling to each other for dear life through a decade of mad, bad New York life punctuated by the deaths of Warhol and two other names I can't pronounce, and the forcible gentrification of the East Village. While Adeline develops into the artist she never really expected to become, Baby falls into the twilight zone of clubbing, ketamine, and late capitalistic sexual excess. As he struggles to find his way out again, Baby will test the strength of a friendship that had seemed unbreakable. So this one looks really, really interesting. I need a thesaurus, guys. How? I've got all these books and not a thesaurus. Really excited about that one. I love Jarett Kobek's writing, and I Hate the Internet. And I know it's going to be a different beast, but flicking through it, it's got the same font, which I like. Ooh, that pile is teetering. Last but by no means least is a book that I've been really excited about ever since I heard about it, and even though I don't know that much about it, it drew me in, and that is The Book of Luce by L.R. Fredericks. And this is one from Hodder, so thank you very much, Hodder. Rockstar Messiah Freak, who is Luce? Now, on the back it says, David Mitchell meets David Bowie in a mind-bending literary quest. Sold! Everyone has heard of Luce. A halo of white hair, a rakishly tilted bowler hat, an album that changed the world. But that was just one of the many faces of Luce. Now it's time to find out who and what Luce really is. From psychedelic London to the frozen wastes of the Himalayas, from Paris to Japan, the search for Luce begins. Hashtag who is Luce? Ooh. So I'm so excited about this one, and just look at it. A huge thank you to Hodder for sending me a copy of this one. Now I'm going to try and put it atop this stack and things will fall. Oh, I had to talk a bit fast to get through that lot. Hi, different day, same t-shirt in an attempt for continuity, which I've now rendered obsolete by telling you that. So although I filmed the bulk of this video when I filmed it, I've got a few more proofs that have since arrived that I thought I would wrap up the haul in with. So although it's a different day, I thought I would finish off the haul with a few more proofs that have arrived since I filmed the bulk of that lot. So, a few more have arrived. First one from Alan Lane Books is Chris Kraus's After Kathy Acker, which is a biography of the writer Kathy Acker, who is most known for her book Blood and Guts in High School, which was sort of quite controversial when it was published, which I haven't read myself yet, but Penguin are reissuing it this month, and I'm going to get myself a copy and probably do a sort of alongside parallel reading at some point, whether it's this month or next month, I haven't decided. But yeah, After Kathy Acker. And it's a biography written by Chris Kraus, who you may know from writing I Love Dick and Torpor. So Kathy Acker, rich girl, street punk scholar, stripper, victim, media whore, and cultural icon. The late Kathy Acker's legend and writings are wrapped in mythologies, many of them created by her. 20 years after her untimely death, aged just 50, Acker's legend has faded, but her writing has become clearer. A few years ago, the writer Chris Kraus, author of I Love Dick, found that her own experiences were becoming more and more like Kathy's. She began writing about Acker through the distance, but with this incredible frisson of feeling that I could often write I instead of she. This is Literary Friction, the first fully authorised biography of the avant-garde writer Kathy Acker by the woman who arrived on the scene straight after her, who shared some of her boyfriends and friends and her artistic ambitions. Using exhaustive archival research and ongoing conversations with mutual colleagues and friends, Kraus traces the woman behind the notorious novels and places her at the centre of a kaleidoscopic artistic world. So I'm really, really excited about this one, and as I say, I'm going to pick up a copy of the Penguin reissue of Kathy Acker's Blood and Guts in High School, which is her sort of most notorious novel, and we'll read the two alongside each other. So thank you to Alan Lane Books for a copy of this. Then I got another book from Serpent's Tail, the lovely guys at Serpent's Tail, and that is a copy of Bluebird by Attica Locke. Now, I really enjoyed Attica Locke's Blackwater Rising and Pleasantville. They're both really good sort of crime novels that deal with more of the sort of lawyer side of thing than the police procedural element of it, set in the south of America. America's south, not South America, South USA. Yeah. And this is a new series, the first in a new series. Southern fables usually go the other way around. A white woman is killed or harmed in some way, real or imagined, and then, like the moon follows the sun, a black man ends up dead. But when it comes to law and order, East Texas plays by its own rules. A fact that Darren Matthews, a black Texas Ranger working the backwoods towns of Highway 59, knows all too well. Deeply ambivalent about his home state, he was the first in his family to get as far away from Texas as he could, until duty called him home. So when allegiance to his roots puts his job in jeopardy, he's drawn into a case in the small town of Locke, where 2 dead bodies have washed up in the bayou. First, a black lawyer from Chicago, and then, 3 days later, a local white woman, and it stirred up a hornet's nest of resentment. Darren must solve the crimes and save himself in the process before Locke's long-simmering racial fault lines erupt. And that was something I really loved about Attica Locke's 2 previous books, was that they dealt with racial tensions in a different way to a lot of novels. They were set in a town that was a black majority town that had been overlooked during elections and things like that, and they were just really interestingly done novels. So I'm really, really excited about Bluebird. Bluebird, as I say, loved Attica Locke stuff, and I love a cover that's... ow. So again, thank you Serpent's Tail for this one. Then the lovely guys at Weidenfeld Nicholson over at Ryan sent me a copy of History of Wolves by Emily Fridlund. Now this is another Man Booker long-listed book that I can add to my long-listed selection of books. I'm not doing too badly for them now, there's only a few that I'm missing. Nice. And this one I am quite excited to read. One of my colleagues has already read this one and said it was a really interesting book. 14-year-old Lunde lives with her parents in an ex-commune beside a lake in the beautiful, austere backwoods of northern Minnesota. The other girls at school call Lunde Freak or Commie. Her parents mostly leave her to her own devices while the other inhabitants have grown up and moved on. So when a young family, mother, father and their little boy Paul, move into the cabin across the lake, Lunde insinuates her way into their orbit. She begins to babysit Paul and feels welcome that she finally has a place to belong. Yet something isn't right. Drawn into secrets she doesn't understand, Lunde must make a choice. But how can a girl with no real knowledge of the world understand what the consequences will be? This is a debut novel that has made it to the Man Booker long list, so that's always quite exciting. So yeah, that will not be taking me too long to get round to. And finally, the guys at Simon & Schuster kindly sent me a copy of The History of Bees by Maja Lunde. Now, this cover, I don't know whether you can fully see it. Let's see if we can get it in the light. It's got these gorgeous bees on it, but it, like, fades on the way down, so you've got, like, less and less bee. And gorgeous writing down the side there. So, The History of Bees. England, 1851. William is a biologist and seed merchant who sets out to build a new type of beehive, one that will give both him and his children honour and fame. United States, 2007. George is a beekeeper and fights an uphill battle against modern farming, but hopes his son can be their salvation. China, 2098. Teo handpicks pollen onto the fruit trees now that the bees have long since disappeared. When Teo's young son is taken away by the authorities after a tragic accident, and she is kept in the dark about his whereabouts and condition, she sets out on a gruelling journey to find out what happened to him. Haunting, illuminating and deftly written, The History of Bees joins these 3 very different narratives into one gripping and thought-provoking story that's as much about the powerful relationships between children and parents as it is about our relationship to nature and humanity. Now, I must confess, I have still not got round to reading Lillian Paul's The Bees. I know it's one that everybody seems to love, and I have got a copy on my shelves and haven't got round to it yet, but this feels like it'll be quite a companion-y one to this, and I can add it to my sort of bee books that I've got, well, Lillian Paul's The Bees and Sean Borrowdale's Bee Journal. So yeah, thanks to Simon & Schuster for that one. I didn't want this video to turn into like half an hour, but probably going to be about 20 minutes again, isn't it? Are my videos too long, guys? This is something I'm having a bit of a quandary about. I know I'm pretty much always around about the 20-minute mark, and that feels long. Let me know. Do I ramble too much? Would you prefer more concision? Am I doing exactly what the problem is and just rambling too much and asking the same question in about 7 different ways? Yeah, I'm just having a bit of a worry about it, and like, how long should videos be? How much of time should I be taking up from you lovely people? So yeah, just let me know, would you prefer some shorter ones as well? And I can figure something out like that, maybe. I'm not really known for not rambling. So, this right here is a lovely big stack of books from publishers that I've been sent so far this month. I'm a very lucky lady, and I love my job. So huge thank you to all of the publishers there that have sent me some books. I'm very excited to get reading them. To be honest, I wasn't going to do another haul yet, but there was some in here that I just really wanted to start reading, because I think I can squeeze another one in before Northern Lights, so I was like, but I've got to haul them first to film it. I think some of you can guess which one it's going to be. Well, I read pages for you, and I need to read pages for her. It's just natural, guys. So yeah, I have still got one more big haul to come behind that stack of books. Only just not peeking over the top of it is another stack of books, which I'm going to do my second-hand mega haul at the end of the month, because there are still some more on the way. This whole saving up to move out thing hasn't really worked out, has it? Not this month. Have a little chat with me down in the comments below if you've read any of these books. There are a few there that some of you could have read, a few that you couldn't have read because they're not out yet, but if I don't know, just talk to me. Like lovers do. No, don't. That'd be weird. Are there any there that you like the sound of from my really rushed and garbled, crappy little kind of this is a book thing that I've done with all of these? And what are you reading at the moment? Because I have just finished a very dark book, which I will talk about in my next wrap-up. Very, very dark, very unsettling, but somehow wonderful. I don't know. What are you reading at the moment? Have a little chat with me down in the comments below. If you are not subscribed to me and you're watching and you would like to subscribe, that'd be lovely. Thanks. There's a button down there. You can click. I'll point to it. So I'm going to try not to make this as protracted as it usually becomes, and I'm just going to say, see you later, guys. See you next time. Have a good reading time. Oh, yeah. You'll see me when you see me. Bye, guys. Where the hell am I going to put all of these? I reorganised my bookshelves not that long ago, and there's nowhere to put these books again. Book world problems, am I right? I didn't get one when I went to IKEA last time, because there wasn't room in my mate's car.